Welcome everyone to this course on ROPS for tractors used in agricultural operations. My name is Ty Dayrosh and I will be your instructor today. My goal for all of you is to leave today with full knowledge and understanding of three topics. First one being ROPS for tractors and agricultural operations. The second one for being safe operating practices of a tractor. And the third will be when it is or isn't safe to operate. Now, I assume that everyone, or nearly everyone, most probably several of you guys are sitting here today are saying to yourself, I know all of this already. Just sign my certificate and let me go home. Let me leave. Let me get out of this place. I don't want to be here. I operate a tractor while I'm in a classroom. I understand that completely. So I just want you all to know that I guarantee that you will walk away with new knowledge and or understanding of a topic. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. So I understand that me guaranteeing something to you, me being someone you have no idea who I am, is probably not enough for you. So I will answer this question for you. Why does this course matter to you? Well, there's several answers to this question, honestly. There's no actual one answer. But what I can say is, for starters, safety is key. I think anyone in this room can agree that safety is key, and without it, there would be more incidents and more casualties, especially in line of work with heavy machinery. All employees must have safety as number one in their head, and that is the ultimate goal. At the end of the day, is you want to wake up in the morning, put on your boots, go to work, and come home to your family at the end of the day. That's everyone's goal. No one wants any problems. So, I again understand that a lot of you guys have been doing this for a long time, probably longer than I've been alive. At the end of the day, fundamentals can be refreshing to experienced operators, especially because those are going to be the main guys that's going to be saying that they've been doing this for years and they don't want to hear anything that someone half-assed has to say. So, I always hear this all the time at work, and I'm going to use as an example. I hear the classic, I know what I'm doing, my way works, I ain't got to listen to what you say. I will just say this, just because it is your way does not mean that it's the right way. Or what a lot of people say is my way or the highway. It does not work. And like this line of work, that could easily get someone hurt very quickly. So just a quick overview of today's course. It will be a total of 4.5 hours from when you first got here until the time you leave, and here's a quick breakdown from here on out. You're gonna have a 55-minute instruction on ROPS. You're gonna have a 30-minute for a written test on knowledge of ROPS. 30 minutes on presentations, where as an individual you will determine and tell the class whether or not your given photo depicts safe or unsafe conditions. You then must explain why or why not, as well as what would make it safe to operate. Then you have a 10-minute break to use the restroom, as well as getting your water or snacks that you like from the vending machines. Or if you did not pass the test, I will work with you and we will talk about what happened, and I'll give you the opportunity to pass the written portion. Excuse me. So after that, you have a 20-minute period where we will talk about the hands-on portion. I'm a firm believer that students should be self-educating and pretty much take their education in their own hands and become the teacher. So This is going to give the students a more in-depth grasp on the topic, I feel. And if I just give guys a bunch of notes and say, hey, study this, have a test on it later, and we're going to talk about it, I don't think they will learn it. Whereas if they're forced to learn it, then I feel like that's going to be something that they will be able to grasp easier. And lastly, you have a 90-minute hands-on portion. This is where you all transform from your student to the teacher, and I will be present, but I will no longer be your instructor. I will have a team of 5 instructors ready to give you a performance evaluation, and the class will be divided into 2 groups, hopefully of 5, given if everyone passes the first written portion. Group 1 will start. Once paired with your instructor, the evaluation will begin, and we'll go for a more in-depth with this later on in the class. I don't want to kill you first off with what's going to happen. I want to start with what's happening now and go from there. Alright guys, let's start with the most important topic of the day, the reason why we are here today. ROPS. Now, does anyone here know what it stands for at all? I mean, offhand, you might not know what it stands for, and you might not ever heard of ROPS, but I can almost guarantee that every single person in this room that's been around a tractor or a heavy piece of equipment has seen it before. It might have even saved your life before, and you don't even know what it's called. And that's why we're here today, to give education on this. So ROPS stands for Rollover Protection System. ROPS are roll bars or roll cages designed for wheel and track type agricultural tractors, but you can also see this on heavy equipment such as steamrollers. You can even find this on non-enclosed street sweepers, and the list goes on and on. You can find this on almost every piece of equipment, especially for a company, because like I said before, safety is key. So these systems are designed to create a protective zone around the operator whenever rollover occurs. This is worst case scenario. We do not want to ever see these happen, but ROPS is put in place to prevent this. And there's only one way that ROPS works, that is if you wear your seatbelt. I know a lot of people that don't do it, even in their cars. A lot of people that are on machines that don't like to do it, but it will save your life. Be sure to do it. Wearing a seatbelt will prevent the operator from being thrown out of that protective zone that is created from the ROPS and crushed, hurt, injured, or possibly killed from an overturning tractor or on any other form of piece of equipment that has the ROPS system mounted because you do not wear your seatbelt. Please do it. So some of you might be thinking, why bother? What's the point? I'm safe, yada yada. I'll ask you this. How does a company and or operator benefit from a rollover protection system? I'll say it just like this. From an agricultural stance, the tractor is a leading cause of death on the farm, believe it or not. It is one of the most versatile pieces of equipment you will find in any construction company. The only thing that would possibly give it a run for its money is an excavator. But a tractor is the most versatile used piece of equipment you could find. I can guarantee that. So that gives you the obvious reason why it's the most deadly piece of equipment there is. An ROPS with the use of a seatbelt have a 99% success rate given the turnover. Now ask yourself the same question again. Why bother? The answer should not be simple. It's life-saving. someone's life may depend on it. Out of curiosity, Fugier's had an incident where a tractor rolled over and ROPS saved their life and they were wearing their seatbelt. They took an incident that went from injury, possibly death, to not being hurt at all, just scared a good bit. So those of you that are experienced know how much of a lifesaver this is, and you might have seen it happen, or you might have experienced this being used before. Now, knowing how it changed a company and or operator's life, how has the invention of ROPS changed the industry of agriculture as a whole? I mean, that's a more in-depth question that makes you actually think about it. You're going from the company and a person to everyone, the whole agricultural community, which is huge. So the use of ROPS is like I said, it's a lifesaver, and operators are safe doing their job. The safety of an operator is key, and ROPS does precisely that. I mean, at the end of the day, think about it like this. Without an tractor operator, how are you going to run a farm? I mean, you'll be able to find another operator, but it's going to be a long cycle. If you keep on having injuries, it's never going to stop. You're always going to have this problem. So that's why I say ROPS is the way to go. Wear your seatbelts. Don't be that guy that says you're better than a seatbelt and you will not roll, because at the end of the day, we don't know what's going to happen. So if you look at the bottom right of the slide, you can see actually I inserted this picture of a tractor with RPS system. This is a simple bar ROPS. It's right over the back tires. It's a post that goes over the top. If the machine were to roll, that would be the first point of contact, where the operator would be sitting down in the seat with the safety belt covering them to where they do not fly out of the seat themselves. So here I have a YouTube video demonstrating why ROPS on a tractor can save your life. It's a very informative video. It's about 8 minutes long. Please pay attention, enjoy it, and let's see. Yeah, please pay attention and enjoy it. It's very informative, and I think all of you would get a lot of information from it. Alrighty, guys. Let's see. Alright. Now that we have a good understanding about ROPS, let's talk about unsafe operating conditions. Who has operated a tractor in unsafe conditions? Now, some of you might not want to be honest, but everybody in here should raise their hand, because I know there's not a soul in here that operated a tractor as safe as possible under all safe conditions. It's not gonna happen. I know how people are. They want to get stuff done quick. They think they don't need it. Everyone's unsafe at some point. So this poses the question, what exactly is unsafe? So for a tractor standpoint, unsafe conditions could be operating a tractor near ditches, embankments, and holes. It could be going at high speeds when turning, crossing slopes, and onto a rough, slick, or muddy surface. Driving on extreme slopes, and that's definitely a no-go. I mean, these points are most prevalent in incidents. This is where you're going to find all of your incidents, honestly. According to CFR 1928.51 Section D, there are 9 key ideas that are the proper way to operate a tractor. They are as follows. 1, securely fasten your seatbelt. We've beat that to death, I feel like. 2, when possible, avoid operating near ditches. embankments and holes. 3, reduce your speed when turning, crossing slopes, and on rough, slick surfaces and muddy surfaces. Avoid slopes too steep for operation when watch your surroundings. And especially at road ends or roads or anything where objects are obstructing or very close. This is a key one. Do not permit others to ride. This could hurt or injure them, because think about it this way: there's one seatbelt and you're in it. There's not another one. Don't let people get on it with you. Operate smoothly, no jerking turns, starts or stops. Hitch only onto a drawbar or hitch points recommended by the tractor manufacturers. And lastly, 9 is when the tractor stops, set brakes securely and set parking brake if applicable. Given most of your experience, I feel like most of this should be common knowledge, but I hope that you picked up a new point or two. That's my goal, like I said, at the end of the day. So, we're going to go through a quick little quiz, not graded, but I just wanted to show you and give an example. So, safe or unsafe? Is this picture safe or unsafe? The right answer is unsafe due to Rule 4, avoid slopes too steep for operation. Now guys, some of you might be saying, I can make it, that doesn't look bad. I know how to get around it, but at the end of the day, that's too steep of a slope for a rubber tire tractor to be rolling on. Let's try to avoid that at all costs and stay away from it if we can. Next, is this picture safe or not? I mean, just given the background, you can see there's fencing, there's cattle. You know there's got to be a tractor in there somehow. So, other than that, you see that it's flat, dry land. It's not muddy. It just looks safe to me. I mean, put the tractor in there, follow the rules that was given, and I think you'll be all good to go. Alright, now it's time for part 1 of your exam, this being the written portion. This will cover your knowledge on ROPS as well as what it does for you, your company, and your industry. You will have 30 minutes to do so. You aren't allowed to talk to your classmates. But guys, it's a test, straightforward. Write your answers, get it done. Can't talk to anybody else. You must raise your hand for any questions, and they will be answered by me or my assistant. Finally, turn your exam over when you finish, and your exam will be graded and returned to you promptly. A picture of a certain scenery will be given to you to study for the presentation portion of the test after you get your test back. Study your picture. Think about it. Think about if it is safe, why it is safe, why it is not safe, and if it is not safe, how can it be safe? Alright. Alright, everyone. Once everyone completes part 1 and 2, part 1, part 2 will be underway, starting from the person who finished part 1 first. You will present your picture, straightforward, come up, show everybody your picture in the class, and I want you to tell everyone if it is safe to operate there, why or why not, and if not, what can be done to make this scene safe to operate. This should take about half an hour to do so for the whole class. Part 2 will account for 50% of your total written test grade. You need 80% or better to move on to the hands-on portion of today's training. If you fail to do so, you have a chance during the break, like I told you earlier, to correct your mistakes on the test. And if your mistakes are not corrected, I will sadly have to ask you to leave and retake this course again. So, alright, presentations are over. This is break time. During this time, approach me if you have less than 80% overall on your test. Otherwise, please use all 10 minutes up. Take the time to use the restroom as well as other vending machines in our area. Have snacks outside, water. Go use the restroom and report to the class promptly. We will start in 10 minutes from now. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed your 10-minute break. Let's do a quick recap of everything that we've done so far. First off, big one, ROPS. A rollover protection system, ROPS for short, is a system built directly on a piece of equipment to create a safe zone for the operator. They really only properly work whenever you're wearing your seatbelt, like I drove in your head so far. They benefit the operators for the most part since they are made to protect the safety of operators. During the case of rollover, a rollover can be prevented by the discretion of an operator for most of the time. Make a good judgment call may save your life. All of this ties in directly to safety practices. Always use your seatbelt, avoid ditches, embankments, and holes. Reduce your speed when turning, crossing slopes, and our slick or sloppy muddy terrain. Avoid steep slopes. Watch your surroundings. Ride alone, operate smoothly, tow only using a tow hitch. Points. Lastly, be sure to set your brakes when you are done operating. So, now that we had that quick recap, we're going to go on and talk about the hands-on portion of today's training. So, this next portion of this course is the hands-on portion. The good part, this will be the final part of the course, and you might actually have a little bit of fun because you get to operate the tractor. The bad part, sadly, I'm gonna have to tell you, is that you will not have me as your instructor during this part of the testing. I'm sorry. So I will be splitting all of you up into two groups. Outside are 5 instructors. Group 1 will fall in line and meet with their instructor. As mentioned earlier, for this portion, you are now the instructor. You will teach them as if they know nothing. Pretend you were in my shoes, teaching you all about everything we talked about. So you will teach them pretty much like I did for you. Here's how the hands-on portion will happen from beginning to end. First and foremost, you're going to meet with your instructor. Then you will begin by telling them everything you know about ROPS. This is everything you got tested on as far as how does it benefit you, your company, the industry, what it's called, what it stands for, what it does, and why, what to do to make it effective. From here, you will fire up your tractor and begin the second half of the hands-on portion. There will be 2 different areas next to each other, one being good to operate on, one being not good to operate on. When you get to this point, turn off your tractor and explain to your instructor which path you will take and why. After that, return back to where the tractor was originally parked and safely repark it. Remember, follow all safe operating practices. 100% seatbelt, 100% use your parking brakes. This should be instinct by now for all of you operators out there. So, like we talked about before, be sure to be safe as possible. Remember all the 9 points we talked about before. So, after you get back to your instructor, dismount your tractor and report to your instructor. During this portion, your instructor will have been evaluating you this whole entire time on your knowledge of RPS, your judgment calls, and your ability to follow safe practices of operating a tractor. Your instructor will then give you a paper, and this will tell you if you passed or failed in so many words. But bring it to me and I will let you know why you why you would have failed and if you passed. So if you failed, you will be asked to leave and return again to retry the hands-on portion at a later date. I do apologize, but I cannot let you retake this part if you are doing it very unsafe. If you failed it, there's a large reason why you failed it, and we're going to have to reevaluate you at a later time. So, enjoy. Please come back after. Whenever you come back, we're going to go over everything, and we're going to have our closing slide or closing remarks. Thank you. Alright guys, welcome back. I've handed out everyone's certificates. If your piece of paper has your name on it with my signature on it, then congratulations. You have passed the course. I would like to thank everyone for coming out and choosing us for the course. We appreciate every one of you, and we hope that you have learned something today. Being the business that we are in and doing what we do in this training type of company, we strive to make the attendees' experience as useful and as painless as possible. The only real way to do this is to ask you guys, get feedback from you. So what we want each of you to do is fill out a quick anonymous survey to tell us how we did and how we can improve. Don't worry about hurting anybody's feelings. Be honest. Let us know. We genuinely appreciate your feedback, and we want to know honestly how we can make this better. Once you finish, please hand it to me, and you're free to go. Enjoy the rest of your day, and be careful going home. Again, thank you for choosing us, and have a great day.